Okay, hello guys. Okay, as I promised today, I'm going to I'm going to share with you about the four basics of the supply and demand. Okay, which I'm going to show you in this video. This is just the basic of the supply and demand. So I will. It's not going to be enough just for one explanation. It's going to be very lengthy. So I don't like to keep it lengthy. The thing is, you need to understand the basic functions and identifying it in the charts, which is more important. Okay, because once you can see the pattern, then you can see the the charts more clearly, and then you can see who is in control. Is it the buyers or the sellers? Is demand more or supply is more? Okay, if demand is more, you look to buy. If the supply is more, you look to sell. Okay, so I'm going to write down here. So the supply and demand, right? I just sorry, I just make it. Shit. Hold on.
MyCareersFuture.sg. Try it.
It's full of shit when they start ads. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I just put as SND, supply and demand. Okay, so supply and demand, right? There are four types of supply and demand moves. Okay, rally based rally, drop based rally is the first two. Okay, the other two is the drop based drop, and then the rally based drop. Okay, remember these four types of move because it's always happening in the market. It's always happening. It's just about a matter of you identifying it and then wait for it and make the necessary executions. Okay, when the rally based rally happens or drop based rally happens, this is always an indication that the demand is strong. Okay, the demand is strong in this case. So in this case, when the demand is strong, you only look to buy, no sell. Okay, when the drop based drop or the rally based drop happen, it means that the supply is currently overwhelming the demand. That means there's a lot of people, there's a lot of there's a lot of sellers. Okay, there are a lot of sellers, and then there is no buyer. That means there's a lot of items, which is on hand, but nobody is willing to buy it. Okay, so in this case we only look to sell. Okay, no buy. Okay, so this is the four basics of the supply and demand. Just remember this four. Okay, rally based rally, drop based rally is a demand, drop based drop, rally based drop is a supply. So I'll just hope this ad will come up again. Okay, it never come. Okay, so for rally based rally, what it means? First of all, a rally based rally, right, is usually a rally based rally will always, most of the time, it comes after a drop based rally. Okay, what is happen is that, for instance, the market is going down here in this case. Okay, then in the end it's like that. Alright, so when this happen, right, this is what we call a drop here. This is called a drop. Okay, and after the drop, this is a base, and then this is where the rally happens. Okay, so you have a drop base rally, and usually, right, the base will always form after a drop. Okay, after a drop of a rally, a base will always form. So when the base is where we look to enter, only enter. As I say, do not enter after a drop or after a rally. You want to enter where price is making a base, and then look at the price action into whether how are you going to make the entry. Okay, the thing is, do not enter after a drop of a base. We always wait for a base to form before we enter. So in this case, where the drop based rally happens, right, after a rally, and then what happens is that price will make a base here, and this is where we are looking to enter around here. Okay, enter a buy limit or what, then it will what happen there, and later I'll show you in the charts. Okay, so disclaimer that I want to say about this supply and demand, right, what I find it most significant is that it always works very well on the higher time frames, like the daily and the H4, and perhaps even the weekly. Okay, but if you want going to look it on the lower time frames, you can, but it's not going to be as reliable as the higher time frames. As you guys know, I always trade the higher time frames. So try to look from these 3 time frames when you look at supply and demand. All right. And so for the drop based drop and the rally based drop, it always occurs after a price have gone up. Yeah.
Liquid Text, winner of Apple's Editor's Choice Most Innovative iPad App of the Year, goes beyond reading a note.
Okay, so a rally based drop or drop based drop always happens after a price make a rally. Like for instance, right, price is going up here, and everybody's looking only to buy only. Okay, but in the end, what happens? Rally, it make a base here, and then it drops here. So in this case, right, what we having here? This is a rally here, right? This is where we call a base, and this is where we call a drop. And when this happens, right, the next one will always be, most of the time it will be a drop, you make a base, and then it will drop again. Okay, so when a rally, so it's identifying what's happening in the market first before you decide whether you want to buy or you want to sell. In this case, after the drop, do not enter after a drop. Okay, do not enter after the drop. Wait for the next confirmation to see whether, if price may go up in this way, that means there's no base, right? In this case, it may be a drop base rally again, or it just goes up a base and it went down again. We can never know. Okay, so wait for the candle to be fully formed before you decide. For the base, confirmation of a base is usually, in my views, is that the minimum is at least 2 candles. The minimum. Okay, the base can form to many candles, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a lot. Okay, a base in which that the price after a stalling move, it just could not go anywhere. Okay, it just halt for a while, and that is called a base, whether it goes up or it goes down. Okay, so that is the basic of the base. So my point is, right, you want to enter on the base. Always look to enter when price is making a base. Okay, and then the target area, the target TP, is most probably to the next supply or to the next demand. Okay, as I said, this is just the basics. I mean, I'm just going to go as the raw basics of it all. More of it I'll just explain as we go further on. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the charts to explain my view about rally based rally and drop based rally. Okay, like in this case, I got Aussie Yen. I'll just give one example. Okay, so we look from here. What do I see here? Okay, if I look from here, right? Sorry. When you look at the chart, right, don't focus too much on here. Okay, this price action already happened. It's got nothing to do with your entries. Because if you are going to look at here, right, you're only looking to sell. Whereas any sell order that you make is going to be very short-lived, right? In this case. So if you're going to look at here, then it's not the right way. Okay, your concern is all about here. So in here, what is it telling us is that, what is it telling me is that, if you look, for instance, right, what happened is that this is a drop, right? And after the drop, price make a base here. Minimum 2 candles is over there. And after that base, what it goes up. That means we have a drop base rally. Am I right? We have a drop base rally around here. And after a drop base rally, what happens? You make another base, right, around here. Price doesn't go anywhere, minimum 2 candle. And after that base, what happened? Price make another rally, right? After price make another rally, what does it make? It make another base, right? Can look clear? Price is not stalling around here. Okay, stalling, up, down, up, down, up, down. Then after that, what it make? It make another rally, am I right? So if you look from this point, now you see why I'm taking a buy, because I do not see any drop based drop or rally based drop in order to tell me that the supply is more than the demand. The way I see it, the demand is still there for this pair, which is why I take a buy instead of a sell, which some of you may have done it. Okay, and I think the more if you look from here, right, this is the inside bar here, mother bar here, right? Price never escape, but now it may look to escape, so I think target price here. Okay, it never escaped the low of this mother bar, right? Price is already now in the middle now, so that's why always look into this aspect. See, this is the daily. From the daily, you can see very clearly that there isn't any drop-based drop or rally-based drop in order for you to look for a sell. If you are going to look for a sell, right, the only reason you are going to look for a sell is you are looking at this, number one. And number two, you are looking at this candle. Come on, think about it. Is one candle really worth it? It doesn't make sense. Okay, one candle does not dictate the price action for the whole, for the structure of the market. Okay, this one candle also, I mean, you go look for a sell, right? I mean, you're not going to work out, and then you look for a buy here, it's not going to work out. Then you look for a sell here, it's not going to work out. You get what I mean? Then in the end, you are just not, you just do not know what the hell the market is doing. Whereas, in actual sense, the market is just making a demand. Market is making demand and then creating higher high, higher lows, and then a drop-based rally, rally-based rally. If you look in the higher time, you look in the H4, right? You look in the H4. If I'm going to base on, okay, just the drop-based here. Look from here, you see it's a downtrend, but if you look from here, right? Where is the downtrend? There isn't any downtrend now. Price is pushing up, and then if you look at this point where price make a when drop down and push up, right, there is a support, right? No support has been broken so far. No support has broken so far. So why you look for a sell? If you look at this market, right, it just keep on going up and up. So point, the only reason I said that, then if you are looking only at H4 without looking at your daily and analyze your daily, right, you only look at this. Oh, look for a sell, look for a sell. This one pull back, sell. See, it keep on going up, going up, going up, going up. So look from that point of perspective. Okay. So I'll give you one more example. After that, I will stop, because you guys need to understand and see from your charts the rally-based rally, drop-based drop from a daily perspective. Then you will know what is going on. Okay, for Euro Aussie right now, I took a sell. Alright, why I took a sell? There's a lot of multiple reasons. Okay, if you look from here, from look from here, Euro Aussie, you look from your left to right. Okay, I'm sorry, just look from here. Clear downtrend, right? Look from your left to right in daily, naked. Just don't do anything. Just look from a naked perspective. It's very clear going down. Look from your my Aussie yen. Can you now see where is the how to define a trend, an uptrend or downtrend? It's very clear, bro. It's very, very clear. Am I right? Okay. So cut things short. As I say, price have rallied, so there's no reason for me to buy. Instead, I look for a sell, because in this case, I'm anticipating that this is going to be a rally base drop, in which yesterday I entered is at the base. In this case, you will see a base forming in H4. Okay, this base is formed at H4, is where at the previous supply here, which is drop, base, drop, in which the drop is here, and that is the base, and that is the drop. Price came back to retest that supply, and most probably to drop here or even lower. Okay, if you look at H4, see, rally, base, two candles, drop. But actually, why I entered besides the rally base drop is actually because of the inside bar fakie, which I just shared with you this morning. Okay, weak buy momentum, and then just keep on. So after a fakie, usually it tells me that the buyers have failed to push the price higher as the sellers come back. That's the only reason why I do a sell. Alright, so you guys can practice the supply and demand on your own, and then determine. But as I say, always look from a daily perspective on then H4, or you can go from your weekly perspective to see how things work out for you. Okay, if there's anything, you can still DM me, no problem. And I will just leave at here. See you. And I will just if there's any additional points, I will make on the next video. See you.